Hey guys, it's 4Track Guy, and I'm going to be doing a walk around video of my 2011 Honda RINCON Project MAYHEM. It's got a 30-inch ITP CRYPTIDs, 30 by 10 by 14 inch rim, MSA diesel rims. They're pretty lightweight, I think 12 pounds for 14, and the tires are 41 pounds. Really nice mud tire. I really like them. I bought them used, got a wicked deal on them. That's why I went with ITP CRYPTIDs. And I'm really impressed with them. I heard a lot of bad things about them, but they're a pretty good tire from what I can see. So anyways, I did a 3.5 inch lift. I don't know if you can see here. So there's the spacer there, right, and the bracket there above it, prefix bracket, and the spacer is just PVC stuff I use for the snorkel pipe. Gives me about a 3.5 inch lift. Axle angles are running about 20-25 degrees. So the OEM axle still stock. They've done pretty good. They've held up. I got 5,500 kilometers on it in maybe 250 hours. Warren winch, 3,000 pounds. I got the little rubber stop on it. Those things are really handy. If you don't have one, go get one. They're like 20 bucks, 15 bucks, whatever. Got the LED light bar, Princess Auto Special, 100 bucks. She's good. She lights up like, was it 2,000 feet in front of you, man? It's wicked and really lights it up. Also for lights, I have I don't know if you guys can see, but the rock lights here, I got them off Amazon for I think 25 bucks as well. First, they're red. They light the ground right up there at nighttime. It's it actually is pretty nice. What else have I done? Rear lift, so you guys know. Bigger spacer in the rear because I got the girlfriend with me and the seat. It's a couple 100 pounds right there, so I put a bigger spacer in the back there so she doesn't. It's really soft suspension. It sags down quite a bit. I'm running a HMF exhaust. She's done pretty good. She sounds pretty good in there. Maybe I'll start her up or put a video up there you can hear it. Pretty nice exhaust. I also am running a Canon air intake. I'm also running a Power Commander fuel programmer for a little bit more horsepower. I also have done 20% gear reduction on this thing. It's pretty easy. 3 gears, rid of the back of the casing here. Right, so you just pop these bolts off here, pop the whole casing off. You got to take the whole rear end out, but the 20%, it really makes a huge difference in the mud. I was running 27s, and then I put the 20% gear reduction on, and I ran up to 28s, and I had tons of power, so I stepped it up to 30s. And I wouldn't go any higher than 30s. 30s just enough. It spins the tires great with 30s, got lots of power. I actually raced RINCON 650 stock 26-inch tires with my 30s with the gear reduction, and I blow them out of the water. You do lose your speed with the gear reduction, but you do gain it back with the 30-inch tires. The bigger tires do make help you get your speed back up, so it's not too bad for speed wise, really. She has just enough power to pretty much do a wheelie with me on it. It's not crazy powerful. It's a Honda, right? So other upgrades I did was HIGHLIFTER Diff spooling lock. I split the gear crease, the diff open there, and just a little washer pretty much that keeps the cam followers from spreading apart to do the limited slip. So now it's locked in. The only problem I have with it being locked in is the steering. Steering is A lot harder to turn, especially on the asphalt. It's not too bad in two-wheel drive. When you're on a hard pack, I really don't have that big of an issue. A little bit harder to turn, or more three-point turns on the trails than usual. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're in the mud all the time, you're building a mud bike. Don't do the Diff Lock because you really lose a lot of handling. And you probably would break an axle with that Diff Lock too, right? So I've been pretty fortunate. I've been on, I don't know, 5 or 6 rides now with the 30s, and the axles and the Diff Lock and everything's working great. Haven't had any issues, so I'm really happy. If you do have a RINCON and you are making it into a mud bike, it makes a huge difference with the Diff Lock in it. And it's only $40 off Amazon from HIGHLIFTER. Other upgrades, I put POWERMADD hand guards on just for the winter because it gets cold. That windshield really freezes your hands. And I also have the heated grips. Makes a huge difference. I froze my hands off at the beginning of the year, and I went out and bought the heated grips and the wind guards, and I love them. I can ride in, just call it zero, with no gloves, and my hands will stay warm the whole day. Snorkel pipe. So what I did here with the snorkel, homemade obviously, right? It just PVC, couple 90s, 2-inch inside diameter. Don't go anything smaller. You don't want to suffocate the air going into the motor. So what I did here was pretty much bolted it to the rack here. I left it outside. I didn't want to cut a hole in the plastic. It goes right up underneath and connects to an exhaust pipe tube here, which then goes over the engine in between the gas tank. Right. So it comes, the engine's right below it, and the gas tank's right above it, so it goes right up in here. And then this is just my factory my factory intake. And all I did was cut the end off so it could fit on there, put a heavy duty clamp. I wanted it sealed up really good. The other thing I did was I took the whole air box out, and I sealed up all the joints, recocked everything, electrical, whatever was going on there. I caulked it, I sealed it, even put a little dab around the lid, just a little bit, because you got to get the lid off, so you don't want too much. It's got the O-ring in there, and it does let a little bit of water in. It's okay if it's a Honda, it doesn't mind it, but I wanted it watertight, and that's why I put the little seal around. This bad boy's for my winch. Just zip tied it here, it's pretty good. And my power commander is stuck up there. I don't know if you can see it all. Kind of keep everything out of the water. Another thing I did here was I put all my relays and all my electrical, my fuses and everything up here into the pod. Pull it off so you guys can see all the wiring all up here. I obviously electric grease everything. I ran my vent tubes all up here, so I try to keep everything as high as possible out of the water. I never did a rad relocate kit because I don't like them. They really block the view. I just don't like them at all. This machine's pretty good. The rad doesn't get clogged up too much. It's got a little screen here in the front. I don't know if you guys can see it all. It's got a little screen. It helps out, blocks a bunch of shit from going into the rad. I do get it clogged up once in a blue moon, and what I do is I carry around a Gatorade bottle, and I just fill it up full of water and squirt it clean, and usually I make it home fine. So that's why I haven't really done one, because I haven't really needed one. It wouldn't hurt to have one, but I just don't like the view. It blocks my view. I just don't like it. What else we got here? It's just a switch for the lights, LED lights. Paint job. I got the girlfriend to paint this. She did everything for me. I told her I wanted a splatter job. This is what she ended up painting. It came out beautiful, I think. She really did a really good job. I'm quite impressed with it. It came out better than I ever thought. I wasn't gonna do a splatter on as much as you see here, but because she did such a great job there, I just kept on going with it, getting her paint more parts. Also took off my hair and painted it red, just, you know, make it look a little bit better. She did a great job on the paint. She does everything by hand, just roller and paintbrush. It's a ATV, right? It's not a show truck or a show four-wheeler or anything like that. It's playing in the mud. It's gonna get ruined. It's gonna get scratched up and dinged up. It is what it is. You gotta accept it. So you can see here, she also did the back for me. Nice little flow. Another thing I did, I don't know if you guys can see it all. I'll get up a little bit closer here, but behind the axle there, maybe I'll go from the front side. From the axle there, I put this little conveyor belt. I took a conveyor belt and just bolted it on. It was a cheap solution to keep the mud, shit from wrapping up in my axles. Fantastic job. Doesn't work the very best, but for a free upgrade, I really can't complain. It does its job. Another thing I just finished up here was the steps. I made up my own little footwell here. As you can see, I needed more clearance with the 30s. I had to trim out the plastic here. I tried to keep the flow going really nice and get as much clearance as I possibly could. It came out pretty good. I did it all with just a grinder, hammer, wood, and a welding machine. 20 bucks in steel, say 20 bucks in paint, so 40 bucks I built this thing for. So can't complain, it was great. I had to take the old one out. It was rubbing. All the metal brackets that were here in the wheel wells, those all rubbing, so I had to take everything all out. I threw an extra brace here in the frame, if you can see there, to give it more support as well. Definitely like it. It's great. The girlfriend actually the girlfriend likes it a lot better than the old one. She has zero problems with it. Came out great. I love it. I'm not going to start building these for everyone, so don't start messaging me and asking me. If you do want the old plastic ones, I will be selling them in a little bit. I'm pretty happy with the setup, so I'll probably sell them. They've been trimmed up a bit, just so you know. They're not mint, they're not perfect, they're old, they've been used. But if you're looking for a set, give me a little message there, and as long as you come pick them up or do whatever, I'll be happy to sell them to anyone. I'm also running a prefix skid plate right here. Right. Same as my lift prefix. It's a polyurethane plastic skid plate. It's light, it's 1/4 inch thick. It takes the abuse. Hasn't cracked, hasn't broke, hasn't done nothing. It does a fantastic job, I think. It's just a couple bolts holding it. It helps me slide those ruts pretty good compared to aluminum. It doesn't help you slide as much. The plastic helps you slide a lot better, and it's a lot cheaper and easier to install. A few little issues with it is the holes for the diffs. You can't really, they got a spot for it to drain, but it goes everywhere, so I have to take the prefix skid plate off to do my diffs. I do a lot of maintenance to this machine. I've taken my axles apart twice now and re-grease them. So I do that like once a year. Diffs I do every 3 to 4 months. I do a oil change in them because playing in the water and the mud, so it doesn't hurt to do it even if it doesn't need it. Oil changes I do almost monthly, every month or maybe even 2 months. This thing won't see more than 20 hours before it gets an oil change. Like I said, I'm playing in mud and water. To maintain this, I have to grease everything all up, make sure everything's all still nice and clean, nothing's getting in there. That's about it for the maintenance wise. Like, you're doing maintenance, just electric greasing, electrical, oil changes in the diff, oil changes in the engine, and you're laughing. So the issues I've had has been 2 axle boots in the front rip. To do 2 front wheel bearings, and I also did the lower ball joints are a little bit worn down from the lift, so I changed those. Luckily, I have had everything in stock from my other machines or whatnot, so the ball joints I've had them from the last one, and the 2 front wheel bearings I've had them from the 2 front wheel bearings had them from my old 4-wheeler as well. I never installed them. They're okay, so it's been pretty cheap to maintain this 4-wheeler. I'm gonna spend a couple money on upgrades, but it is what it is. To be honest, I have probably roughly about $2 grand in upgrades on this machine. So if you buy one of these for $2 grand, you can do what I did. A little bit cheaper than maybe working on a K&M and a Polaris. These things are pretty reliable. Like I said, I haven't had any issues. It's been a great machine. It's died in the water a few times. Starts right up underneath water. I'm pretty impressed with that. It's probably because of that right there. Oh, the sticker saves me. Another issue I have with this machine, anyone with a RINCON will know, when it's under load, it wants to die. When you got a lot of pressure, and you let off really fast on the throttle, it'll want to stall out. So you got to be careful. You got to ease off the throttle, and you don't have an issue as long as you ease off the throttle. You're fine. It's just when you snap it and you let go, it'll want to stall. So keep that in mind. It's not the greatest thing in the mud. You got to be really careful in what you're doing. I've had a lot of experience and practice on this thing, so I don't have that issue as much as I used to, because now I know about it. It was like that on the 650 when I had it. So it's just a thing that Honda did in the RINCONs. I don't think any other Honda had that issue. Just the way the transmission is set up. 3-speed transmission. Another issue I had with it was my bolt came loose. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll try to get it as close as possible. See the knuckle there? There's a bolt right in front of the knuckles there. That came loose and dropped down to the cotter pin. So I tightened it back up, and it came loose again after 2 rides. So I took it off, cleaned it up, and I put Loctite on it and a washer to shim it. So now when it does back off, it doesn't back off as much. So keep that in mind if you're having any rattling noises in your steering. It might be a quick fix. I bought knuckles for this thing, and when I went to take it apart, that's when I realized the problem. So now I got an extra set of knuckles. No big deal. One day I might need them, so I'll use them. Honda's great for that because it's like one size fits all, right? All these knuckles fit everything, just like the ball joints. At the end of the day, this is a fantastic mud machine. I've been fortunate enough to show up renegades with 32-inch assassinators on this thing, so I'm really impressed. I wouldn't chirp unless I actually did it. There's videos on YouTube of the guys going in there getting stuck, and then there's me just putting along, made it through. It took me 6 minutes, but it's great to know I put a built in, and I did it for half the price the renegades do it, and I can still show them up. So that's pretty awesome. The machine weighs 850 pounds right now as sitting. Of course, with me, the girlfriend, and the seat, you're going over 1,000 pounds there. Personally, myself, I love this machine. It's been a good build. I'm really happy how it turned out. So this has been a pretty good machine. The only last upgrade I want to do to it is Demon axles. I've heard nothing but good things. A lot of the mud racer guys are using them now and everything, so seem better than the Gorilla axles. So why not? But that's about it for the last upgrade. Really just axles, and this thing's completely finished. Pretty much finished now, but it'll be completely finished once I get the axles. So anyways, guys, any questions, just ask me. I'm pretty honest. I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with my machine, what's failed, and what I've had to fix. Just talk to me and help you guys through it. It's not the best machine for mudding. I think the Honda Rubicon 500 is a better machine for mudding. It's just easier, cheaper to do it. It comes in the built-in option of Diff Lock, which is really handy. The only difference is this thing between the Honda Rubicon is it's a faster mud bike. I got more speed in first gear than the Hondas do in second gear, I think. So it's for 30s. It's actually like the fastest Honda mud bike, but like I said, the Rubicons I think are a better mud bike at the end of the day. So keep that in mind if you're looking to build a mud bike. But if you do have a RINCON and you do want to do it, I'll put a list of everything I've done on it so you guys can go through it. Any questions, I can shoot you guys part numbers. I try to save all the part numbers of everything I put on here, so if you need a part number, let me know. I'll shoot it to you. Anyways, that's my bike. Hope if you guys stayed watching from the very beginning, watching this thing get built up, Thanks a lot for watching. It's finally done, so it's time to pretty much go out and throw some mud around and destroy this bike. See what happens.